started kind of shifting for you?
Just I got to chilling too much on the ropes, you know. Derrick, that's one thing he been talking to me about.
Frank Martin has now addressed the current situation at hand as his trainer, Derrick James, decided to terminate his contract.
The props, man, for standing there in the ring and being a warrior, do you feel like, you gained some more fans after tonight? I believe you did.
Yeah, I mean, if I did.
Frank Martin also revealed more details about what happened between Errol Spence and Derrick James that eventually forced Derrick James into making such a decision.
I'll be honest, I think you gained more fans because when I was sitting there and talking to the crowd, they were like, man, Frank went in there, he fought. Because, there's times, like you said, you were on the ropes.
Derrick James caught the world by surprise after he abruptly ended his contract with Frank Martin. While the exact reason for his actions isn't really certain, many believe it was the reaction of the fans and boxing professionals who blamed him after the loss that forced him to make such a rash decision.
In the fight, you're not, I know you're not thinking any names right now. What's next right now at the moment besides a good little vacation?
For instance, Errol Spence, while speaking after the fight, made some statements that placed the blame on Derrick James for the loss.
Tank just showed his experience and basically just walled him to sleep. Hit him with the big shot.
Known for his exceptional prowess in the boxing ring, it is news to no one that Errol Spence has always been frank in his reactions. However, with his beef with Derrick James getting into his head, Errol Spence wasn't just frank, but opinionated.
Hit him with the big shot and got him out there. Just Tank dude set traps and catch you, especially late.
And this time, his response has been directed towards his fellow boxing professional, Frank Martin, and his knockout loss to Gervonta Davis. Spence's unique perspective adds to the charismatic candor that makes him one of the most admired boxers globally. I like to see great fighters in the ring doing their best, even if sometimes they fall short, commented Errol Spence in response to Martin's recent loss.
And catch you, especially late. He's a little lax and he got caught.
It reflects the mutual respect between these stellar athletes. Despite the brutal competitiveness that defines their profession, Gervonta Davis, the boxer who graduated from a ruthless Baltimore neighborhood to become a world champion at 130 and 135 pounds, triumphed over Frank Martin in dramatic fashion.
He got caught. He should have boxed a little bit more, but things happen.
Davis, nicknamed Tank, defended his lightweight title with a resounding knockout victory that sent shockwaves across the boxing community. As a boxing fan, it's thrilling to watch Davis's power and agility, said Errol Spence in praise of Davis's performance. Despite uncertainties over Davis's ability to sustain his dominance, the boxing superstar maintains his flawless record, further cementing his place as one of the world's best.
You gotta learn from him. Tank, he's good at setting traps, has crazy power that he believes in.
However, while recognizing Davis's victory, Spence focused his comments on Martin's future. Martin, an outstanding southpaw known for his precision punching and never-give-up attitude, suffered a significant setback with the loss. Spence, known for his grit and resilience in the boxing ring, sympathized with Martin's situation.
Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy, he'll let you get out punches.
Life in the ring can be uncertain. One moment you're on top, and the next moment you're not. It's about keeping going, Spence advised in reaction to Martin's loss. Moving forward, the words provided by Spence will undoubtedly resonate with Martin and help him regain his footing in the competitive boxing world.
You come in and you feel like you don't have enough power, he'll keep coming to show you that you ain't got no power.
Spence continued to praise Martin for going the distance with Davis. Martin showed heart in the ring against Davis, with his relentless attacks and tactical gameplay drawing more admirers despite his defeat. Even in his loss and with some wrong orders from the team, Martin demonstrated why he's one of the sport's brightest up-and-coming talents. Spence continued, highlighting what makes the sport more than just winning and losing.
You ain't got no power, and then, you see like he did and catch him with big shots and then knock him out.
In essence, Errol's reaction encapsulates the reality and unpredictability of professional boxing. The highs and lows are part of the exhilarating journey and serve to remind everyone that one defeat doesn't define a boxer's legacy.
You see like he did and catch him with big shots and then knock him out.
Did you get a chance to speak to Tank after and congratulate him? Did you get a chance to speak to Tank?
Sure.
Spence's perspective offers a renewed understanding of the sport, reminding the boxing community that setbacks are merely stepping stones towards success. The bout between Martin and Davis serves as a reminder that in the craft of boxing, the gloves can swing either way and change a fight's course in blink and miss seconds.
Congratulate him. Did you get a chance
Oh
to
yeah,
speak to
yeah,
Tank?
for sure.
Hey,
Earl, you once
just a
mentioned
side
that you
question
wanted to see Frank fight Rolly. Is that like a bounce back fight you might want to see in Tank?
The drama and unpredictability are what make the sport captivating and reside at the heart of boxing. In conclusion, Spence's reaction to Frank Martin's loss stands as an embodiment of the camaraderie within the boxing world, highlighting both the sport's competitiveness and the undying spirit of its athletes.
Frank fight Rolly. Is that like a bounce back fight you might want to see in Tank?
Yeah.
It's a testament to the boxing world's ethos, where a warrior is celebrated not just for victories, but for courage in the face of adversity as well. However, one can't deny that his statement is tainted with some bias towards his former trainer, Derrick James.
After yesterday's win with the Dallas Mavericks, do you think we'll bounce back? I know it's a side question on this, man.
Yeah.
Or do you think Boston let itself win? I lose.
Oh, you talking about basketball?
Yeah.
Considering how much Derrick James attempted to keep Frank Martin off the ring, the above is an unfair assessment of the match and the trainer's performance, as there were actually now wrong orders from the team, only that Frank Martin refused to follow the right orders. The saying goes this way: a teacher can only guide, it's the student who must take the test.
You know, if I probably lost some fans, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna come back, get better, you know, and just keep going.
I'm gonna counter that, Frank. I'll be honest. I think you can.
The student in this case, Frank Martin, was the one who let himself, his coach, and everyone down. To all appearances, boxing might appear as an individual sport. However, there's machinery that stands behind the boxer dueling in the ring. More than anyone else, the trainer is perhaps the most important cog in the wheel. For most of the time, they have been there and seen that. Hence, they are in a vantage position to guide the charge in the best possible way, but more often than not, their counsel falls on deaf ears. And with Frank Martin leading Derrick James to a sudden departure, the Detroit native has made his statement on the issue. I thank Derrick James for all he's done for me. He's been more than a coach, he has been a father too, and it's sad this is happening. To an extent, he's prepared us for this.
Started kind of shifting for you?
Just I got to chilling too much on the ropes, you know. Derrick, that's one thing he been talking to me about.
Truly, in one of Derrick James's previous interviews, he had hinted at a retirement once the current set of his fighters retire. However, it's undeniable that he has been linked away from his fighters several times.
That's one thing he been talking to me about in training camp for a while, you know, not getting comfortable on the ropes, you know, not chilling on them, you know, just because I feel like...
In fact, before Anthony Joshua's fight against Frank Martin, many rumors were made regarding Joshua's split with Derrick James. However, it was first clarified immediately after the fight, while Joshua spoke during his in-ring interview.
Sort of against you, he can't compete?
No. What I was saying is, on the route to the championship, you should always stay focused.
Joshua, savoring his moment of victory after the match and acknowledging all the praises for his devastating right-hand punch at Francis, responded, "It is what it is." Joshua, unlike Fury, spoke so calmly and looked to have no bad words for Francis, but rather motivated him to stay in the game and keep fighting.
And this was me stepping aside from that mission. I thought it was something for the broadcasters and sponsors to kind of...
On the route to the championship, you should always stay focused, and this was me stepping aside from that. I always thought it was something for the broadcasters and sponsors to kind of get behind because it was just entertainment. But when I saw the fight with him and Tyson Fury, I was like, damn, this guy can fight. So I said I need a piece of that. He's an inspiration.
I thought it was something for the broadcasters and sponsors to kind of get behind because it's just about entertainment.
This doesn't take away anything from his capabilities because in boxing, it's one or the other. He can come again. I told him he shouldn't leave boxing. Remember, he's 2 fights in and best. He can go a long way if he stays dedicated. Joshua wasn't ungrateful. He then went on to appreciate his team members. I appreciate them highly: Derrick James, Rob McCracken, Angel Fernandez, Jay Clinton, Robert Garcia, Virgil Hunter. All these guys have helped me till this day.
You know who's there, and I appreciate them highly. Derrick James, Rob McCracken, Angel Fernandez, Joby Clayton, Robert Garcia, Virgil Hunter, all these guys that...
With the mention of Derrick James's name, it became clear to doubters that there was actually no split. Eventually, Anthony Joshua clarified it in an interview, where he claimed he trained with Ben Davison because he was in the United Kingdom, and that meant he didn't have to travel to America to hold his training camp. Hence, it is hopeful that Frank Martin's case is just the same as Anthony Joshua, where the claims were only rumors. However, such thoughts can be deadened when we consider Frank Martin's speech, which confirms the split. Frank Martin added, "Derrick James spoke to me after the loss, and even if I didn't agree with his decision, it was sealed regardless. I just want everyone to know that this has nothing to do with Errol Spence Jr. This was a decision made by the trainer himself, and I'm thankful for all he's done."
Hey, Frank, what's up, man? Najee from Cigar Talk.
What's up with you?
What's going on, brother?
up,
Congratulations, man, just even being here and fighting tough. In the beginning of the fight, you know, you had it under control. You were moving well, using your jab.
Just as Errol Spence had criticized Derrick James for Frank Martin's loss, he did the same when he had his first loss last year, which eventually led to the chaos that scattered their relationship that had lasted over a decade. Following the match where Spence was dropped 3 times before getting stopped in round 9, James was criticized for not doing enough in the corner, as Crawford became the first undisputed welterweight champion of the 4-belt era.
Derrick James is Spence's career. He made Ryan 10 times worse.
James was working with Anthony Joshua and Ryan Garcia, indicating he could not give Spence his full attention. And the rematch with Crawford never happened, as James and Spence went their way. Now, it appears the disharmony has continued, as the trainer filed a lawsuit on April 17th in Dallas County, Texas, demanding damages of at least $5 million.
Ryan 10 times worse. It felt like he was trying to be something he wasn't. I hope he don't try to do that shoulder roll again.
The lawsuit alleged James found Spence's breach of contract, fraudulent business practices, and misrepresentations after Spence received the $25 million guaranteed fight purse for the Crawford fight. It is alleged James was only paid $350K. However, James's camp stated he was entitled to 10% of the total revenue from the fight purse and PPV money.
Oh, you don't want to pay him some money. That's fucked up. It's all business, but still, at the end of the day.
Spence stated there was a conversation between him and James. It happened on February 13th, claiming he told James he was not entitled to receive 10% of his guaranteed purse. Spence asserted someone named Al told him that paying James $350K for the Crawford fight in exchange for his training services was generous. James's attorney stated, "No one named Al was present when James and Spence originally entered into their agreement. Any alleged reliance by Spence on advice from someone named Al regarding James's compensation is misplaced." The lawsuit stated Spence told James in a February 15th phone call that he did rob James. He also allegedly said in a text message that he wanted to own up to his own up and pay James the remaining $2.15 million that they kept with their verbal agreement. Well, the money never came, as both sides are now in court.
Some fucked shit up. How I pay him more on a fight I made less?
Spence has yet to comment on this publicly. And this exactly was what didn't go down well with Spence's former stablemate Ryan Garcia. Despite being stablemates under trainer Derrick James before Spence fought Terrence Crawford, Garcia has shown zero loyalty since a split. Spence has moved on to a new coach, though it's yet to be formally announced, leaving James to focus on Garcia's battle with Haney before Garcia's win.
The fuck? Come on, motherfucker. Fucking, and he been with you your whole career.
However, Garcia gave Spence a dose of his newfound truism by claiming the truth went into the Crawford pay-per-view on a substance he didn't name. "You folded. You didn't want to pay him some money," he told Spence on a social media space. "It's all business, but still, I paid him more for a fight I made less than Errol against Crawford, and he's been with you his whole career."
And he been with you your whole career.
And while Frank Martin has remained very neutral, it is sensed that Derrick James doesn't want to get involved in anything involving Errol Spence Jr., hence the contract termination.
Training camp for a while, not getting comfortable on the ropes, not chilling on them.
And with the looks of things, there may be another split between Errol Spence and Frank Martin, as Frank Martin wasn't in support of hurling blames and insults at his coach. Although Martin was able to gain back respect at times by exploding out of the corner with clean left hands to keep Davis honest, while causing a bruise around his right eye, he was never able to follow up with anything menacing enough to keep Davis from unleashing relentless pressure over the final rounds. I feel like, in the beginning, I was in control, but then I got a little too comfortable, Martin said. I stopped doing my movement, and once I stopped moving, he was hitting me with big shots. When I stopped doing my thing, he started hitting me big. It was just me trying to figure out what I could do to try to slow down the pressure that was coming.
Bouncing off of him and stuff.
Okay, and quick follow-up. A lot's been made about Tank's power. How was his power to you? Was it really like devastating power?
Despite snapping a career-long layoff of 14 months, lightweight superstar Gervonta "Tank" Davis proved on Saturday that he, indeed, ain't afraid of no ghost, or any other fighter for that matter. Davis, 30-0, 28 KOs, whose team was dressed in Ghostbusters gear as he walked to the ring inside the MGM Grand Garden Arena to the movie theme song, took care of unbeaten top contender Frank the Ghost Martin with relative ease to defend his WBA title at 135 pounds. In his first fight since knocking out Ryan Garcia in their blockbuster pay-per-view card last April, with a 44-day jail term in between for violating the terms of his house arrest, the 29-year-old Davis looked both menacing and spectacular in how he repeatedly walked down Martin 18, 112 KOs before viciously stopping him at 129 of round 8. After a slow start, which he ascribed to being rusty, Davis began to routinely walk Davis from corner to corner and unleash power shots after taking away his opponent's jab due to the threat of his power. Eventually, that same power caught up with Martin as Davis landed a left uppercut in the corner to stun him before nearly knocking him out cold with a left cross. Martin, 29, was wobbly as he reached his feet at the count of 10, but referee Harvey Dock waved off the fight after looking into his eyes. I was rusty, but it was okay because I'm back, Davis said. A couple of rounds, I felt like I completely needed a warm-up, but it's okay. His footwork wasn't bothering me. I knew he would tire out. That's why we decided to just stand there and be a target for him so he could tire himself out throwing punches. Davis, who targeted the body throughout, landed an absurd 53% of his power shots, according to CompuBox, in the PBC on Prime Video PPV main event. Martin landed slightly more punches overall, 81-79, but it was the trademark efficiency of Davis that won out as he went on to land 44% of his total punches. It was the uppercut that hurt him. Boom, Davis said. I've been around for a long time and I have been training since I was 7 and competing since I was 8. It's like second nature for me. It's just about staying focused and making sure my mind is on the road to coming out on top. After the fight, Davis wouldn't commit to which fighter he was hoping to target next, despite the fact that rumors have swirled about his interest in title unification fights against fellow lightweight champions Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. Frank Martin, as some of the corner footage displays, received some instructions from his trainer before his 8th round knockout. However, the Ghost, it's been suggested, instead opted for a different route. Then, as it happened, it only gave Gervonta Davis an opportunity that saw Martin cruising to the dreamland. Clips of the corner discussion between Martin and his trainer Derrick James have been garnering some attention on social media. Break before going into the 8th round, the caption of the tweet from @DanTheBoxingMan read, he further wrote, Derrick James telling Frank Martin that when he's in the ropes to go the left, not the right, where he'd basically be walking into one of Tank's punches. So the clip shows Derrick James addressing Frank Martin before the 8th round. While the cut man is tending to the latter's face, referee Harvey Dock could be seen checking with Martin to see if he was all right. On account of the high level of noise at the venue, the audio of the discussion between James and Frank Martin is not very clear. However, from his hand actions and the few words that were distinct, it could be made out that Derrick James wanted Frank Martin to move to his left instead of the right whenever Tank pushed him to the ropes. As most fans know, the Baltimorean, a southpaw himself, would invariably throw his powerful left-hand shots if Martin walked into the range. They may eventually prove fatal for the Philadelphian. So what's the tactical recourse? Stay out of Davis's left hand by shifting to his right, Martin's left. That way, Tank would shoot his arsenal diagonally, and that might off-balance him. But it seems things didn't happen the way Derrick James wanted. Frank Martin increasingly found himself pushed to the ropes. To escape from Tank's onslaught, he instead started moving to his right. It only led the Baltimorean to land more accurate punches. With dangerous efficiency, Gervonta Davis was able to make more connections to Frank Martin's body and head with relative ease. The Ghost started the 8th round on a strong note. However, Tank soon pushed him to a corner and started with a left cross to the face. He kept on moving to his right. Then a right uppercut boxed him. The epilogue saw him first swirl with Tank's right hook. The following left uppercut had Frank Martin dazed. With both his hands down, all it needed was Gervonta Davis's powerful left hand to clinch the deal. And that's all for now. What are your thoughts on Derrick James's decision to end his contract? Do you think that's best for Frank Martin? Let's know your thoughts in the comments section. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.